Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm David Hilton. I'm Head of Advanced Manufacturing at Midas. Midas is Greater Manchester's inward investment agency. We promote Greater Manchester as an ideal location for companies to open new facilities, whether it be research labs or factories, but capitalising on the advanced manufacturing and advanced materials strengths of our city region. Our role is to help make the process of setting up in Manchester easy. We help make the business case for you. We introduce you to the right people, whether they be in academia, research, business, or local government. And we help you with property research, with recruitment, and with promoting your arrival in Manchester. And after you open, we help work with you to help your business succeed and grow, bringing in colleagues from local business support services and getting you involved in the ecosystem here. So if you're looking at the UK for your next expansion, do get in touch with me or my colleagues. Greater Manchester has always been a city region that has led global innovation. It was the world's first industrial city with the first factories and industrial estates, and where Ford built their first cars in Europe. Today, Manchester is at the heart of the UK's largest manufacturing and advanced engineering cluster, and Manchester remains a hotbed of innovation. With automotive, aerospace, energy engineering and food and drink businesses in and around Manchester, there is a robust and diverse ecosystem of thousands of supply chain companies feeding in components, raw materials, machine tools, semiconductors and much more. And there are opportunities for new entrants, particularly as we transition to the low carbon vehicles of our future around lightweight materials for structures and interiors, powertrain technologies, batteries, supercapacitors, power electronics, and other sectors like sustainable packaging, medical devices, clean growth and digital. These all marry up with our local industrial strategy, written in conjunction with national government and focusing on Greater Manchester's globally significant strengths in advanced materials and manufacturing, along with clean growth and Manchester's commitment to carbon neutrality by 2038. That's 12 years ahead of the rest of the UK. There's so much I could tell you, but I want to hand over to our speakers. And I'm sure during the session we'll touch on the exceptional ecosystem that companies can collaborate with, whether that be in robotics and Industry 4 with the teams at University of Manchester, Manchester Metropolitan University, University of Salford, facilities like Print City covering all aspects of additive manufacturing, the North of England Robotics Innovation Centre, and also facilities that are coming on stream like the Advanced Machinery and Productivity Institute, or AMPI, a collaboration between industry, local government, universities and the National Physical Laboratory. We're also home to global industry giants like Siemens, who is a business that's been leading the way in industrial digitalisation and whose UK headquarters is here in Manchester. In fact, their former CEO is our first speaker today. And to briefly introduce, Juergen Maier is not only a hugely respected industrialist and business leader, but is also an advisor to the UK government, with particular focus on productivity and the digitalisation of manufacturing, which actually led to the development of a programme called Made Smarter that the government launched in 2018 to help the rollout of Industry 4 to SMEs. So, Juergen, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much, David, for that kind introduction. And it's such a pleasure to be speaking here today to a manufacturing community. Maybe you've already got some investments here in Manchester, or maybe you're looking to invest in Manchester. Well, as David said, I was the chief executive of Siemens for 6 years, stepping down just over a year ago. And I can tell you that Siemens has very much enjoyed the manufacturing and technology ecosystem in and around Greater Manchester as the industrial hotspot, the industrial city that David just described earlier. In my role now, as David says, I support our national activities in relation to the future of the fourth industrial revolution here in Great Britain through the Made Smarter programme that I will talk about briefly. And I've very much supported Greater Manchester in terms of the creation of the local industrial strategy in Greater Manchester. And maybe if that's where I start in terms of the local industrial strategy, it is very much around advanced industrial manufacturing. And actually, when you look at what we have in Greater Manchester, David mentioned some of the great technology areas like aerospace, like advanced materials. And what we have is we have a great intersection of those sorts of companies in the really high advanced manufacturing space. And at the same time, we have lots of companies in Greater Manchester who are in the advanced industrial digitalisation technologies, like the Internet of Things, the industrial Internet of Things, or in additive manufacturing, or in robotics. And the way we see our fourth industrial revolution in Greater Manchester is very much the bringing together of those great technology companies like Siemens and Arm, who are also present here in Greater Manchester, together with the, let's say, the more traditional but advanced manufacturing companies supplying components, advanced materials to, let's say, the aerospace or the automotive sectors. We have around about 8,300 companies who are in that very advanced manufacturing or in the advanced industrial digitalisation technologies here in Manchester. And the reason why they all come to Greater Manchester is because there is an incredibly strong ecosystem of support. So David mentioned an organization called AMPI, which is all about advanced manufacturing, machine tool controls, just as an example. And we also have, of course, our great universities, and you're going to hear after me from Paulo, from the University of Manchester in their advanced manufacturing and from engineering school. We also have Manchester Metropolitan University, who are very, very strong in many areas of manufacturing, but have got a particular focus on their additive manufacturing and with an initiative called Print City. And we have Salford University, which is very strong in the area of robotics. And supporting all of that, we have some other institutions, like there is another organization called the Henry Royce Institute, which is the UK's leading institution for anything to do with advanced materials. So whether that's carbon composites or the latest materials required for aerospace and automotive applications. And of course, Greater Manchester as being the home to graphene, we have also got a centre called the Graphene Engineering Innovation Centre, which supports people looking at what graphene could do as a material, maybe as an additive to a particular material you are using in a manufacturing product, or indeed using graphene as the product itself. So a huge ecosystem which can support manufacturers to come and locate here. Now, all of what I've just talked about might sound a little bit too advanced, and we do recognise that not all manufacturers already in Greater Manchester, or indeed wanting to locate to Manchester, are already as advanced using the latest of nanomaterials or the latest of the Internet of Things technologies. There are many companies who are on a bit of an earlier journey in adopting some of these very advanced technologies. And for that reason, we created across the nation, but we actually piloted it in Greater Manchester, and that is the initiative called Made Smarter. And Made Smarter has three key components to it. The first is supporting manufacturing companies to upskill and support their staff in terms of getting to grips with advanced industrial technologies like data analytics, additive manufacturing, robotics, etc. The second activity within Made Smarter is creating laboratories, creating demonstrators, where especially small to medium-sized manufacturers can come on board and just have a go at trialing robotics, or trialing additive manufacturing, or trialing the Internet of Things, or creating a digital twin of a product or of a manufacturing process. So it's like an innovation landscape where people can come on board and play and experiment to see how these things might work in your manufacturing organization. And the third aspect of Made Smarter is what we call the adoption program. So that is where there is help given to manufacturing companies to actually be able to, then you've had a bit of a play, you now want to put some robotics into your manufacturing operation, but still not quite sure how to do it. You can get some help from the Made Smarter adoption scheme, which also goes all the way to getting grant support, so some financial support to be able to put some of your first robotics, additive manufacturing, or data analytics systems into your manufacturing operations. The final thing maybe just to mention is that obviously locating in Manchester in manufacturing, you will look to get the people with the right skills. And with the great education universities that we have and further education colleges, it really is a brilliant place. And certainly in my time at Siemens, the graduates that came to us from the University of Manchester, from Salford, from Manchester Metropolitan University, and the apprentices coming from the various further education colleges were absolutely critical to the success of Siemens in Greater Manchester. So that sort of skills ecosystem is there for you to work on as well. And really my final point is if any of it, what I've just said sounds like, wow, that's a lot, and there's a lot of institutions and a lot of people I can engage with, then you've got organizations like Midas, like David, who can introduce you all of those. And something that Greater Manchester really is, especially in the advanced manufacturing field, it's full of people who will connect you to the right people, because it is full of a network of people where people are coming to learn, to share, and to accelerate the innovation that you put into your manufacturing operations to help grow your businesses in Manchester, but obviously to be able to reach way outside of Manchester in terms of supplying your products into the whole of the world from Greater Manchester. So I hope you can come and join the ecosystem. We'd love to learn from you, and I'm pretty sure there will be things that you can learn from the ecosystem too. And with that, I hand back to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juergen. It's great to hear about all the exciting work that's going on and the digital transformation of industry. And it's good to know that Greater Manchester is at the heart of the fourth industrial revolution. Thank you very much. Our second speaker today is Professor Paulo Bartolo. Professor Bartolo is Chair in Advanced Manufacturing at the School of Mechanical, Aerospace and Civil Engineering at the University of Manchester. So, Paulo, if I could ask you to take the stage, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, David. Yeah, my job is easier after Juergen presented so well what we are doing in Manchester. So what I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes is to give you a flavor about our work in the area of digital manufacturing, which is a key element of our Industry 4.0 activity. Kelly, can you move to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Thank you. So, contrary to other universities and research centers, Industry 4.0 for us in Manchester is more than technology. It's about people. So it's a complex social and technological transformation of the world. And from a technological aspect, for us, Industry 4.0 is about the use of digital tools, digital technologies, advanced materials, automation, and big data for the development of sustainable and smart products, services, and organizations. And we have a significant expertise at University of Manchester in the area. So the figure represented in the slide, shows the key areas of expertise that we have. In the green circles are areas of excellence related to each one of our three faculties. So, for example, in terms of the Faculty of Science of Engineering, the faculty that I belong, we have area of excellence related to smart manufacturing, to automation, to flexible manufacturing. But for example, in the Faculty of Humanities, we have a very strong research and training programs related to e-logistics, supply chain, strategic management. And of course, then we have interface areas. So for example, between the Faculty of Humanities and the Faculty of Science and Engineering, we have colleagues from these two faculties working together in areas related to mass customization, sustainable manufacturing, and many other areas. At the middle of this triangle, what we consider as the areas of excellence that we have in Manchester, at University of Manchester, common to our three faculties. And these areas are related to additive manufacturing, to advanced materials, robotics, artificial intelligence, but also related to the role of people. So human-centric design and human-centric manufacturing is a key area for us in Manchester. And throughout the next slides, I'm going to give you a brief overview about some of our activities, mainly related to the concept of digital factory, additive manufacturing, intelligent manufacturing, and advanced robotics. Next, please, Kelly. So let me start with additive manufacturing. This is, as you know, a key technology, a key pillar of Industry 4.0. And it's an area of expertise at University of Manchester. We not only have equipment representing all the commercial available technologies, from vat photopolymerization to extrusion-based machines, but together with companies, we are also developing new additive manufacturing machines, addressing specific needs and covering specific limitations of existing technologies. So we are developing hybrid machines, we are developing machines to create multi-material structures, developing machines to create functional graded components. And this wide range of machines that we have at University of Manchester allow us to process a wide range of materials, from metals to concrete, including biological materials. We're also focusing on process optimization, computer molding and simulation, synthesizing new materials for additive manufacturing, material characterization. And because the way we create the product to be 3D printed is totally different from the way we create the product to be machined, for example, we are part of a major UK network recently established, the UK Design for Additive Manufacturing, where we are bringing companies from different sectors to understand how can we design improved products to be 3D printed. Next slide, please. The next one. So I mentioned about the systems that we are developing, and this slide shows a unique capability that we have in Manchester. So it was a technology, a powder bed fusion technology that we developed that allow us to create multi-material parts, combining different metallic powders, but also combining metallic and polymeric materials, or metallic and ceramic materials. And this is unique. And we are now discussing the next phase, which is the commercialization phase associated to the technology that we develop. Next slide, please. So in terms of additive manufacturing, due to the range of technologies that we have and the expertise that we have in Manchester about materials, we are using additive manufacturing for a wide range of applications. And this slide shows you three areas. One is related to construction. So again, in collaboration with multiple companies, we are using additive manufacturing to print concrete, but not only concrete. So we are mixing concrete with other materials. So for example, cork or expanded clay to create lightweight building elements, but also construction elements with improved thermal performance. Another area is related to the use of additive manufacturing for medical applications. So again, we are using advanced materials to create new medical devices, but we are also printing tissues and printing organs directly into the body of the patients. And this is illustrated at the bottom of this slide. So we are developing a system, an hybrid system combining a scanning device to scan the body of the patient, determining damaged areas and the extension of this damaged area. And a second unit that, based on the information captured by this scanning system, will print different materials containing cells from the patient, creating a synthetic skin directly into the body of the patient. And on the right side of the slide, you have some images comparing our synthetic skin and the human skin. And as you can see, there is a significant resemblance between both structures. We are also using additive manufacturing to create large parts for multiple industrial sectors. So we have a project with a company nearby, Sanko UK, where we are exploring additive manufacturing to create lightweight plastic parts and also plastic parts with improved noise absorption due to the EU regulations in terms of noise. But we are also developing systems using robotic machines together with new path planning strategies to improve the mechanical performance of our 3D printed parts. For example, minimizing the fatigue problems that we know it's a common problem with 3D printed objects. Next slide. Probably less conventional sector is the textile one. And recently, the UK government approved 5 circular economy centers, and one is related to the textile sector. We are part of this center, and within the center, we are developing an hybrid system combining robotic machines, additive manufacturing, and 3D weaving to create 3-dimensional textile products using recyclable fibers or bio-based waste-derived feedstocks as the basic material to create the products. We are also developing tools to allow consumers to collaborate, to co-create their own products. So moving from the concept of a consumer to the most sophisticated concept of prosumer. And to do that, we need to provide tools for them to create their own textile products. Next slide, please. So this is what we are doing based on our expertise on design for automation. So again, we are using a wide range of digitization technologies to allow each consumer to create a digital avatar and to use this digital avatar in a virtual environment to create their own pieces of cloth using a database that we are developing, but not only to create the designer, which is also the user of the product, they are also able to test the textile product, and they are able to see the fabrication process using the system that I mentioned before. Next slide, please. We are also using a wide range of digital tools like virtual reality, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, to develop the digital factory concept, to plan, simulate, and optimize the product development and production. And a good example is our partnership with Unilever through this digital manufacturing center, where we have colleagues from different faculties at University of Manchester addressing challenges in understanding, creating, and scaling up manufacturing process for formulated products in fast-moving consumer goods, so home and personal care products, but also food products. And next, please. So this slide shows a pilot plant that it was developed by the center, allowing to do real-time monitoring to do real-time analysis of the mixture process, predictive control through a cloud-based data. Next. So this, as part of this digital factory concept, we have the digital twins concept. And again, we are developing tools for a wide range of processes. Manchester is quite strong on welding, especially laser welding for thick components. And to optimize the process and to guarantee that we are using the right processing conditions to achieve the right microstructure, we are developing these digital tools. But we are doing the same to many other processes together with a wide range of companies. Next slide, please. Another highly relevant area where we have multiple collaborations with not only major companies, but also SMEs, are related to intelligent manufacturing, especially in the fields of smart inspection and predictive maintenance, human machine and machine to machine collaboration. We are developing tools for companies for condition monitoring and to assist them to perform complex tasks. We have a wide range of inspection kits that are being used for companies to do in-process monitoring of their parts. So a good example is, again, a partnership with an automotive company where we are performing this inspection in real time with plastic parts being injected. And another example is related to 3D printed parts. Next slide, please. And as mentioned, Manchester has a culture of generated new business. And a good example is the recently established Advanced Machinery and Productivity Institute. It's something being coordinated by the National Physics Laboratory, based nearby Manchester in Rochdale. And the aim of this center is to design and to develop the next generation of machine tools. It's a big consortium, and as part of this consortium, we are providing our knowledge in terms of surface engineering and coatings, sustainable advanced machinery, electric drives, motors and control, and energy efficiency. Next slide. Robotics, advanced robots is another important area that we have in Manchester, especially these collaborative robots, the cobots, where we are doing lots of research in terms of trust in human machine, but also verbal and non-verbal communication between people and robots. And again, some examples of our work. One is a project that we have with Procter & Gamble, where we are using cobots in their production line to improve efficiency and performance. And another example, can you move to the next slide, please, Callie? Hub coordinated by Manchester, focusing on robotics and artificial intelligence for the nuclear sector. Where we are developing new robotic systems to remove the need for people to enter in risk facilities. Also robots to map these complex facilities for decommissioning. And an example is this teleoperative work shown in these slides, where colleagues based at University of Edinburgh using virtual reality technology are operating a robotic arm at the University of Manchester. Next slide, please. And finally, I mentioned people. So human-centered factory is a key area for us. And again, we are using these digital tools and digital technologies, first of all, to improve safety in the working space. but also to improve performance, to increase communication between people inside a factory or a company, and by doing this to increase innovation. Safety and health aspects in the factories of the future is something that we are doing within a major institute called the Thomas Aston Institute, partially funded by the Health and Safety Executive Committee at the UK. So I hope I have been able to show you with this very short presentation our capabilities in the field of digital manufacturing. But the key message is that the University of Manchester is an international university open to the world. So we like to learn with industry. We like to collaborate with industry. The University of Manchester is the #1 university in the UK in terms of industrial contracts. And I hope to be able, in the name of the University of Manchester, to assist you and to collaborate with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulo. That was fascinating. And I'm sure, like me, the audience will want to hear a bit more. So if I may, I'll come back to you and Juergen a little later for some questions if we've got some time. But for now, what I'd like to do is ask two people onto the stage from hugely exciting businesses. They're superb examples of highly innovative companies collaborating with Manchester ecosystem. Firstly, Martin Vare is the CEO of Fractory, and he's also on the an industry advisory board member at Manchester Metropolitan University. And also we're delighted to have Alec Wesley with us. Alec is Field Product Manager, Enterprise Software at Thermo Fisher Scientific. So Martin, could I ask you first to introduce yourself and just give a quick overview of Fractory, a bit about the business, but also it'd be great to hear how you set up in Manchester.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me to the event. And it was pretty much exactly 2 years ago when we first landed in Manchester with my co-founder, trying to figure out how to set up a business in UK and where to start, and if Manchester is the best place for us. But before that, Fractory is a cloud manufacturing platform. What it means is we connect engineering companies to manufacturing companies by solving the problem in the outsourcing sector or outsourcing procedure. What it means is that a lot of companies, well, basically most companies who deal with something in hardware, they always require outsourcing services. We specialize in metal component manufacturing. So instead of you sending out requests to 5 different suppliers, trying to figure out who can do when, what, for how much, and so on, our system is able to return the price in just a few seconds from only a 3D CAD model. And we have a network of suppliers, both in UK and in mainland Europe, mainly in the Nordics, who are able to produce that in roughly a week, and the quantities can be anything from 1 to tens of thousands. The company was started in Estonia, that's where I'm from, in 2017. As mentioned, we started to work our way towards Manchester in the beginning of 2019. You also asked, like, why and how did we choose Manchester? Well, it started from a very sort of simple criteria. So we looked at 2 things. We were a relatively small team at the moment, and we looked at the languages we speak. Well, everybody speaks English, so it must be UK. What else? So let's look if what's the sort of general level of digital acceptance in the UK. Relatively good, and in the sort of top of European markets, so that checked the box as well. And then we started to look at the regions, and Manchester, or a sort of manufacturing, and especially SME manufacturing, is mainly centered in the north and Midlands and that region. So Manchester was kind of an obvious choice, being the biggest urban center in the region, well connected, and we were very well accepted when we first came here by Midas and the universities and everything. So it was a warm feeling, and although the size difference is quite enormous from the city where we are from and Manchester, it still had a similar feeling in a sense that Tartu, where we are from, is also the second sort of biggest city in Estonia, and it's a sort of up and coming economy or ecosystem, and Manchester sort of gave a similar vibe and was very familiar to us as well.
That's excellent. Thanks so much for that, Martin. It's a great story and it's great to hear your journey so far. We'll come back to you very soon. And Alec, could you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about Thermo Fisher's Industry 4 experience?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for the opportunity to talk today. My background is originally applied chemistry. Excuse me, I qualified from the University of Huddersfield, so just over the hill from Manchester. I've got a background in analytical chemistry and software development. I've developed software for cheminformatics solutions and supported enterprise-wide registration and screening systems for chemistry, small molecule drug discovery, and through to next generation sequencing. So I cover the whole kind of the breadth of it. I've also been involved with 2 successful startup companies, being employee number 19 in both. Both companies were successfully grown and sold to larger companies. That's how I joined Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher itself is over 70,000 employees globally. The base in Manchester, the closest, we've got 3 or 4 sites around the Manchester area. The main one is in Altrincham, where we've got the center of the software development for our flagship laboratory system called Sample Manager, and also running the global support for the digital footprint for Thermo Fisher. We've also got robotics and analytical instruments in and around the Manchester area. And for Thermo Fisher, we cover every part of the supply chain. If you take something like COVID, we've supplied the UK government with testing environment, with the instruments, the technology, the data analysis, and we produce everything from the hardware and the vials right the way through to the data analytics. So we cover a wide area, and we outreach and collaborate with academic institutes around the world.
That's great. That's really good to hear. So thank you all. We've had a great snapshot of what's going on in Manchester and the impact that digitalisation and automation has on businesses and the opportunities for businesses to start up and grow. I've got a few questions. I'm conscious of time, but so if we crack on. Firstly, Juergen, can you provide any stats or comment about the success and the impact the Made Smarter pilot program has made on businesses and the opportunities it's given?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, first of all, maybe speaking nationally and then going down to Greater Manchester. So nationally, when we started on the journey of Made Smarter and the 4th Industrial Revolution, we did a survey of British manufacturers. And in 2017, less than 20% felt that they were either ready or on the journey to adopting advanced digital technologies like we've been talking about today. When that survey was rerun last year by our manufacturing organization in the UK called MACE UK, it was around 70% of manufacturers. Not that they were already fully Industry 4.0, but the question was, do you understand and are you on a journey to enable yourself with Industry 4.0? So it's an amazing jump. Now, it's not only Made Smarter that has impacted that, but it's been a key contributor. Coming to Greater Manchester and the northwest of England around it, Made Smarter is engaged with about 1,200 companies and supported about half of those, 550, with actual projects of adopting things like data analytics, something that Martin was talking about in his business, right through to robotics and the industrial Internet of Things and additive manufacturing. So yeah, it's a lot of engagement and making quite a lot of progress.
That's great, thanks. Just to, I suppose, follow on from that, I think businesses are kind of overwhelmed by the, terminology of Industry 4, and they think they've got to invest in a hugely expensive robot, and that's the first step. But the first step of the journey can be a lot smaller, I presume. So what's kind of your advice for a small business starting that journey?
Yeah, well, and it's exactly as you say. It starts small, and indeed, of that sort of 1,000 or so companies I mentioned that have engaged with Made Smarter, actually there's quite a few of them that have just put the first 3 sensors on one of their machine tools and put it into a cloud-based data analytics system to get some performance data out. So it could be as simple as that, or you could be looking at putting your first robot in, and you might actually not want to do that in your factory. You might want to come and work with the University of Manchester that you heard about from Paulo, or from the Manchester Metropolitan University, or in another one of our centres where you can have an offline play in terms of how this might work in your own factory.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And Paulo, you gave a couple of case studies in your talk, but is there kind of one that stands out for you as a case study or an example to show that collaboration with business?
Yeah, so probably one of the most interesting example was with a really traditional company that one day approached us and told us, oh, we know about Industry 4.0 and we want to implement Industry 4.0. And we visit the company and we realized that they had no CAD tools at all. So it has been a fantastic journey, introducing technology, training them, and pushing them into high levels of adoption. So this was probably for an academic the most exciting journey that happened 5 or 6 years ago.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Martin, I had a couple of questions already lined up for you, but you've kind of answered them really. So I suppose just carrying on from that journey that you first took a couple of years ago coming to Manchester, what's the kind of size of the business now, and where do you see it in the next 2 or 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Well, we are rapidly expanding business, and when we started, well, basically we hired the first people in autumn of 2019. Today our UK team is a size of 15, and we kept growing throughout COVID as well. So not as fast as we were hoping, but in general, or on a group level, the company was able to grow over 3 times as compared to 2019, while we were aiming at 5x growth. But still can't complain comparing it to what was happening. This year we see that things are picking up. Our growth has accelerated, so we are again aiming for 5x annual growth. At the moment, we're growing at a rate of roughly 16-17% a month. So constantly hiring in UK and especially in Manchester, around that region. Although we haven't been able to open our office for a year now, and or slightly more, it has taught us to operate on a sort of remote basis a bit better. Although our 2 offices in Estonia and Manchester are constantly in connection and constantly communicating, it still sort of taught us to hire remotely, and I think that's one of the main things in terms of where we headed with Industry 4.0 solutions as well. The manufacturing industry has relatively been offline for the most part, and now everybody has to use Zoom for communicating and other tools. So I think this sort of the past year has definitely accelerated the general sort of pickup of digital solutions. hopefully as well, it will help us move along with our goals.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you. That's great. And Alec, as a large company, what sort of uptake are you seeing from life sciences SMEs? What technologies are SMEs finding most popular or most comfortable with?
Well, it's been a really interesting year. I think that the technologies that are going, it's driven by everything needing to be auditable now. Going forwards, research has now become more regulated, so everything's moving from, if you're into hardware, there's a lot of focus on things like RFID tags and smart tracking, so you take the human error out of things, over to digital, where the same thing, audit trail is in everything, and also using things like virtual reality headsets to enable people to work more efficiently whilst in the lab, to record what they do, and you've got visual records for the audit trail, and through that as well into training. That's becoming much more popular, where you can train somebody almost at home. You can ship them a headset and they can be trained on an instrument or the software, and then when they come into work, they're ready to train to go. So that's becoming very popular.
That is amazing. That's excellent. Thank you very much, Alec. And I'm afraid we've come to the end of our time. There's so much more we could discuss, but we do have to stop there. I'd like to thank our speakers from today. So Juergen Maier, Professor Paulo Bartolo, Martin Vare, Alec Wesley,